There was nothing wrong with the programs that you tried. They just weren't built for you, who you are, and what you do. If you've jumped from method to method and still feel stuck, there's a reason, and it's not lack of effort. Because until you understand the why behind those programs and why they didn't work for you, you're going to keep repeating the cycle over and over again. And you're going to miss the breakthrough that could finally shift everything. I want to tell you a story about me. When I first started trying to get myself fit, trying to get myself to lose weight, trying to get myself to build muscle, I didn't really know where to start. I didn't know what was important. I didn't know what I could forego. And most importantly, I didn't really know how to build it into my life. At the time, I was a trainer. I was working with people on the floor. I was doing personal training. I was doing some nutrition coaching here and there. But I was very busy. I spent a lot of my time with clients on the floor, probably working 10, 12 hours a day, like a lot of you do, right? A lot of you are software engineers, a lot of you work in tech, a lot of you at least have desk jobs, and it's difficult to know what is the low hanging fruit for me to start moving things forward. So, like most of us, I started trying to control everything. I tried to work out. I found some programs online and started doing them. They had me working out an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours, 4 or 5 times a week. At the same time, I was trying to control the food that I was eating. So I was trying to track some macros. When that didn't work, I tried to do keto. When that didn't work, I tried to do like old school points diets like Atkins or Weight Watchers. When that didn't work, I tried something else. I never really stuck to something longer than 1 to 2 months. And then when I didn't see the results that I wanted, I would just start over again. And I did this probably for about 3 years. And one of the things that I failed to see at the time, and granted, I was in the early stages of me being a trainer, in the early stages of me being a nutrition coach, was that the advice that I was giving other people, I wasn't really internalizing for myself. And that advice primarily was find a program and stick to it. That was one of the biggest things that really made a huge difference when I started incorporating it into my training was that I would find something and I would stick to it for an extended period of time. That was one very small thing that did help. But the biggest breakthrough that finally came to me was when I finally sat down with another coach and explained top to bottom what my life looked like. I kept trying to find these cookie cutter programs out there and like force fitting them into my day. And that just wasn't working. I just was getting nowhere. And in 2 to 3 months, if I didn't see results, I'd be demotivated, just wouldn't stick to it, and everything was failing. But finally, when I sat down with a coach and took the time to get them to tell me, hey, what will work with my schedule, with my day, with my demands, all of a sudden I had something purpose built for me. So for me at the time, my training couldn't be 2 hours a day, 4 to 5 days a week. So my training became 3 days a week. And I was really only training for about an hour. That seemed crazy to me that I wasn't going to train as much. But my body needed to recover more than it needed to train additional hours, right? Because I was on the floor working with people, I was being very physical, and that just it wasn't going to fly. The other thing that happened was they made me start eating more. Again, I wasn't taking into account the fact that I was on my feet, moving and training people all day long. So my body was starving. I was low energy. My metabolism had slowed down. So I had to go through this reverse dieting protocol. And quick pause here. These are not ideas for you to start implementing. This is not what this is about. Okay. I'm telling you my story. I'm going to tell you what I want you to implement at the end. Okay. So don't start writing things down on your journal and thinking this is the point of the video. But when I finally had something that was built for me, it started working. I started losing fat. I started gaining muscle. More importantly, these things didn't feel like such a chore. I started feeling like I could actually do this long term, which was the intent. I wanted to embody the shape, the energy, the strength, the physique of somebody that my clients would admire. And this was the beginning of that journey. So the biggest lesson throughout this entire process, and the lesson that I bring to you today is you need to find something that's built for you and your lifestyle. It cannot be a cookie cutter program. Okay? You need to find a team of people that are going to be able to adapt their approach to what you need, not the other way around. Right? The program should not be the static thing and then you need to move around it. The program needs to move around you. You are the static object. The way you work, the way your family shows up, the way you need things to work is how things need to be. Case in point, I can't have a program for a stay-at-home mom that's going to be the exact same program as an executive mom that's working all day long that, works for Microsoft or works for Amazon. Okay? So, I hope you guys take that to heart. I'm going to give you some pretty practical advice about how to go about finding some of these programs, but in essence, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for something that's customized to you. And mind you, I want to acknowledge that these programs that you've been on, that you've tried before, they do work for some people, right? The problem is they didn't work for you, right? You have to find a program that works for you. And unless you get lucky and find that cookie cutter program out there that's specifically for you, you're better off trying to find something that's customized, right? Something that really does fit into your lifestyle instead of the other way. Okay, so here it is. A couple things that I think are really important to think about as you approach starting anew and actually getting success this time. Number one, remember, old programs ignored your starting points. This one needs to start with the truth about where you are. Okay? You don't need a better version of somebody else's plan. You need a framework that adapts to you. So begin with a brutally honest self audit. What season are you in? How much work do you have on your plate? How much time does your family require of you? How much time do you have to cook or prep meals? How often are you eating out? How often are you traveling? Take an inventory of all of the challenges that you have in your life and be very clear and upfront with whoever you're going to work with about those challenges. If you sense hesitation on their end for being able to deal with some of those factors, that's not the program for you. If somebody's asking you for extreme commitment, multiple hours a day, 4 to 5 days a week, and you don't have that time, that program is not built for you. Move on, find something else. Okay? You need to find something that is allowable and doable within the confines of all of these things that we're going to take an inventory of. Number two, the old programs clearly overloaded you. We need one that builds momentum. So big rigid systems kill motivation because you're not going to be able to stick to it. So we need something that is adaptable and we need something that's going to allow you for some early wins. Okay? If we can get little micro wins, if we can build habits slowly over time, if we can start and build up to these longer term habits that we want to develop, we're going to succeed. If we try and do it all at once, we're more than likely going to fail. Okay? So any program, in my personal opinion, that immediately gives you 3,700 things that you need to do is going to fail. We're looking for something that builds over time, step by step, habit by habit, something that's a little longer term. So, for those of you that have tried and failed for years, my recommendation is a minimum of 6 months. Okay, number three, the old program treated you like a robot. We were just going to follow these things verbatim. The new program that you're going to find needs to include mindset and identity shifts. Okay. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your identity. If you can restructure the way you think about yourself, you are now a person that eats healthy, whatever that means in the confines of your program. You are a person that exercises. You're a person that's strong. You're a person that gets their steps in. That identity of somebody that's a little bit more physical, that's more capable in that realm is really important because you're going to start to do things every single day without noticing that are going to add up to these big results. So, identity shifts, behaviors, really big part of whatever program you do. It can't just be follow these steps and you're going to be in shape. That's not going to do it and it's not going to last. Number four, the programs that you used before were information heavy. Now we need something that's accountability heavy. So, old program, big giant book of information, lots and lots of stuff about what you should do, how you should do it, and lots of information on like the types of foods that you need to eat, maybe some macronutrient ratios, doesn't matter. Stuff that you could have chat GPT'd in the first place. If you could get this type of coaching from Claude, this isn't the program for you. That's not what we want. Okay. The new program that you're going to look for needs to be accountability heavy, and that accountability needs to come from a human. I've met all of you. I've worked with 30,000 people over the last decade. I have not met a single human being that cares what the application on their phone tells them. If that app tells you, like, oh, you didn't get your steps today, you don't care. You brush off the notification and you move on with your life. If a coach that you know picks up the phone and calls you and goes, Sarah, what's going on? I haven't seen you in the gym. I don't care how independent and strong you are going to care about what that coach thinks about you because you're still human. So accountability comes from people. I need you to find people to hold you accountable. Listen, I want you to know that you were never the problem. You were just trying to force fit yourself into a program that was never designed for you. This time is different because you are the starting point. Your wiring, your season, the prep work that you're going to put in, and more importantly, the program that you're going to choose is going to be purpose built for what you need and where you're at. We would love to be the people that help you through this program. And I would love to see you succeed and see you kick some serious butt. If you did, I'd love for you to leave a message in the comments. I want to hear about your success stories. If you guys want to watch another video and get a little bit more information about other areas that we could help you with, watch this one over here. Above all, go kick some butt. You are 100% capable of doing this. I believe in you. Let's go.